Hello and welcome. My name is Dr. Jim Cellini, and if you're new around here, welcome to my channel. I am a board-certified practicing veterinary neurologist and neurosurgeon. On today's episode, I wanted to react to some of my favorite TikTok videos of the last year. I've been on TikTok about as long as I've been on YouTube. The username is the same, that's DVMCellini. And if any of you guys use TikTok, you know that there is a lot of insanity on TikTok, like a lot, as in never go into the comment section unless you want to get down and dirty with people. On today's episode, like I said, I'm going to react to some of my favorite TikTok videos, both good and bad. There's going to be some stuff in here that I react to, and it's going to be, in my opinion, total BS. And there's also some really good stuff in here, too, that I'm going to react to. So I'm going to try to use some of these videos to kind of clear up some misconceptions about animal science and veterinary medicine in general. But just looking to have fun during this episode. I hope you do, too. Oh, and if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button, please. It greatly helps the channel. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it, and thank you for watching already. All right, let's get started. Okay, the first video that I wanted to look at is on one of my favorite topics in all of animal science and veterinary medicine, and that is chiropractic. I've made a few videos about chiropractic already. You can check them out here. I'll put a link around here. You know, whenever I see the start of a chiropractic video, I kind of know that I'm in for a real treat. This is Dr. Mike Adney, who is a chiropractor who looks to be practicing on mostly large animals, and apparently has a massive TikTok following. Let's take a look.
What not wanting to bend is the right side.
Yes.
Which he's fine with, but you know, he's overbent. Come here, get out of the stall, please. Come on.
Yeah, this is going to be this is tight too.
Here. Now they're your best friends, huh?
There we go.
Good boy.
Holy smoke.
That's it? Was that supposed to cure something? Okay, I'm just confused as to what that possibly could have done on a horse. So they're saying this is a massive release in this horse's hip. Now horses weigh like well north of 1,000 pounds. And as you can see how large this horse is, I don't see how using your two hands you could really do anything to a horse to adjust any joints. For this doctor to claim that he's doing an adjustment and using just two hands, lifting his foot up and somehow adjusting his pelvis, I don't think there's any real biomechanical proof of concept going on here. My general thought process, as I've stated in previous videos, when you're dealing with alternative treatments like chiropractic, you have to think to yourself, okay, what symptom did the animal have? What diagnosis did we get? How did we reach that diagnosis? And then most importantly, how is what you're doing actually helping with their diagnosis and their symptoms? So in this video, all I can really tell that he's doing is lifting up this horse's foot and rotating it internally or externally along his hock and along kind of like maybe his, I don't even know if his pelvis is getting any sort of range of motion here. And they're saying that this is a massive release in the hip. You know, the other thing I noticed with chiropractic videos is that whenever there's a crack or whenever there's some sort of sudden movement that the horse does, everybody interprets it like the horse just had some massive amount of pain relief.
There we go.
Good boy.
Holy smoke.
I never noticed anything, and I don't know what the heck everybody is looking at and cheering about. I think this is like a massive placebo effect going on. So, yeah, I have no idea what this could possibly do for a horse, what he just did. I mean, he literally just lifts his foot up and says, this is tight. Like, what? If anybody can tell me or provide me any sort of scientific study as far as like what something like that actually does to a horse, by all means, let me know in the comments below. All right, moving on to video number 2. This is one of my favorite accounts. This is the Exotic Pet Vet. This is a veterinarian who practices, I think, exclusively in exotics. She has both a TikTok and a YouTube channel, and her TikTok videos are always coming across my algorithm. So this one came up the other day, and this is a really nice example of a turtle getting an abscess taken care of in her clinic. So let's take a look at this.
This turtle was placed under anesthesia to remove an oral abscess.
Unlike mammals, turtles do not have an external ear, so when an infection builds up, it has no place to go. In order to remove the hardened pus, we had to cut over the abscess. Once it was removed, the turtle was feeling much better and is expected to make a complete recovery.
I bet that turtle feels a million times better. So as she stated in the video, turtles don't have an external ear canal, so if they get any sort of ear infection, it can kind of build up towards the surface like that. Also, another thing I wanted to kind of mention too, a good physiology point here. You notice how this turtle has an abscess that's very firm and it's almost like a mass. And we've all seen videos of animals and people getting pimples popped and zits and abscesses, lance, and there's this massive amount of like liquid that pours out and it's much more liquidy looking. Reptiles, when they have an abscess, they are not able to break down their abscess like mammals are. There's enzymes called proteolytic enzymes that are responsible for kind of like liquefying that focal abscess, that infection that's in there. But since reptiles don't have that, they tend to form these really dry, hard, golf ball type looking masses that you see there in the video. So that's like what a reptile abscess looks like. And compare that, if you ever see an abscess in a mammal, of any person or animal, will have like a real fluctuant type of an abscess most of the time. There's shades of gray with all this, but I think that was a good kind of example there of what a reptile does. All right, so this is a video that was very popular a couple months ago. I think it got over 30 million views, which is insane how viral TikTok is. But let's check this one out. This one I like a lot.
Watch the external
Okay, so this is, many of you might have seen this video already. It's gone so viral back in October. But this is a good example of the external extraction technique, which is designed basically to get a ball, like a tennis ball type object, out of a dog's mouth. So it's pretty uncommon, but dogs do choke sometimes on objects like tennis balls. They get lodged in their airway, and you can imagine that's obviously a super emergency. But this is a technique that has been devised. I've never done this myself. I worked emergency for 2 years, but I never saw this problem. But this, you can see the clinician here. She gets on top of the dog. They turn the dog upside down, straddle them, and they get their thumbs kind of under the ball. You can see the ball right there, and they get their thumbs under it, and they start pushing up, and that kind of just shoots the ball out of their mouth.
Start at the jaw and keep the head in an inline position. We're going to position our thumbs below the ball. You can see the ball, feel the ball right here. The trachea is right here, and I'm going to go on either side, and I'm pushing down and up. It's like a J stroke. And we can see the ball pops right out.
All right, moving on to my second favorite topic. That is raw food. I made a video earlier talking to a nutritionist. I made this video back in like May of 2021. But I did a long form interview with a veterinary nutritionist, and we touched on the raw food issue and all that. But I see these raw food videos all the time. I can't help but comment because it's so much just false information that is being put out there by non-veterinarians. It just really drives me crazy. It really does. So let's take a look at some of my favorite. This is like the Hall of Fame, Mount Rushmore of raw food videos that I've seen on TikTok.
Rudy's getting his dinner out of his new slow feeder tonight, and this was his meal. First, I'm starting off by adding beef chunks. Then he's getting pork loin chunks with some smelt. Next, he's getting 3 chicken feet with green bell peppers and blueberries. He's also getting chicken hearts and a chicken egg. Next, he's getting pumpkin puree and oysters. Then for his organs, he's getting beef liver and pork kidney, and lastly, plain Greek yogurt. If you want to switch your dog to a raw diet, go to KaylaKowalski.com, or the link is in my bio.
Okay, just to summarize, there is no evidence that feeding a raw diet is healthier or less healthy for your dog compared to a commercial grade diet. There is evidence that their pathogen burden is much higher, both in their saliva and what they shed in their stool, when they're eating raw meat, because guess what? it's raw meat. There might be more pathogens in raw meat than cooked meat. So the raw food issue in general obviously kicks off a lot of strong opinions from people. You'll hear a lot of anecdotes from people talking about raw food did this and raw food did that. It cleared up their hair coat, it made their muscles more pronounced, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, there's been literally zero evidence that raw food has proven to be any sort of benefit with really any sort of health condition. Now, proponents of raw food will sit here and they'll very commonly say things like, well, that's because big dog food like Royal Canin and Hills and companies like that, they're trying to squash research into raw food, which somehow justifies the fact that there's no evidence for it. But to that I say, one, that's just a conspiracy type thinking where if you find no evidence to support your opinion, that in and of itself is evidence because you can just default to, oh, it's a conspiracy. And two, if raw food really was better for dogs, do you not think that these multi-billion-dollar companies have the infrastructure in place to create their own raw food diet? You don't think they could just do that at a moment's notice and just start making their own organic raw food? Come on. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, that's a soapbox of mine. I love talking about raw food because there's, again, all you have to do is say, where's the evidence for it? And nobody can point you to anything. And just so you guys know, somebody's blog is not evidence. All right, and lastly, back to my favorite topic, which is more chiropractic. Here is Dr. Jordan Whitley, who I've made a video about before, mainly bringing up concerns that during his exam, he's potentially causing pain when he's doing these procedures, which, again, have no evidence that they do anything or help in any way, shape, or form. So let's watch this video. It's got a lot of views, and it came across my algorithm a little while ago.
So as soon as I make this adjustment, she's not gonna like it.
Hi. You're okay.
Oh
okay.
man, I found it.
Nothing.
What?
See, that's it. That's all it was.
So again, these are pain and fear mixed together type responses in a dog. So again, we don't know what symptom this dog has, we don't know what diagnosis or how this diagnosis was reached, and we certainly don't know how what he is doing to this dog is helping in any way. And it sure seems to be causing pain and anxiety to some degree.
Oh man,
I have no idea why when dogs receive chiropractic and they vocalize like that because they're in pain and scared or both, why this is somehow brushed off as, oh, it's just, no big deal. It's just, they're just freaking out for no reason. I have no idea why that happens. If that were me doing an exam and my technicians and support staff are watching me do that, they would be horrified watching me induce pain to that degree. So I have no idea why or how this stuff is so popular. My guess is because people just don't know a lot of the facts that go into issues like this, and there's a lot of facts hidden from these sorts of posts that they kind of just brush over a lot of things that are either missing or possibly inconsistent with the account holder's story. All right, so those are some of my favorite TikToks from 2021. I'll probably do this again maybe in like 6 months or so, maybe do this twice a year. This is kind of fun. But if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching so much. I appreciate it. Talk to you next time.
You want a tree? Yes. You want one? Yes. You want one? Yes.